We told you a few weeks back that California had drafted new water use restrictions on what they call the water right holders. Remember the senior water right holders and the junior water right holders? Most of these are in agriculture, and they had been given some curtailment orders. Cut back the amount of water that they grab.
They're sucking, billions of gallons of water out of the rivers and from underground. And they've owned these water rights, in some cases going back to the 1800s. And these they pay some kind of fee for the water rights, but they don't measure how much water they use. Nobody knows. They have a piece of property, they could just keep drilling wells deeper and deeper and deeper and sucking out the water. If they have rights to a particular river, they could suck the water out of the river. They don't know. There's no way to monitor. So when the state said, we've reached an agreement and they voluntarily agreed to cut back 25%, we said, BS. Steam and bull poo. Because there's no way to monitor this. There's no way to prove that these guys are going to cut their water use.
They were given a deadline of which they had to report complying with the new restrictions to stop pumping water, particularly from the Sacramento and San Joaquin rivers. And the news has come out that only 31% notified the state by the legal deadline that they complied.
Right.
Which is not making the water board people happy. We were a little bit disappointed at the low response rate.
Yeah, so 70% of the farmers, the beloved farmers, have basically given the state the finger. So while you idiot water scolds are obsessing over lawns and showers and golf courses and all that kind of nonsense, the companies that are really sucking up tons of water are told not to. They agree not to, and then they ignore their agreement. They ignore the deadlines.
Yes, some wonder if they're just late, but Jim McLeod is the board president of the Santa Carbona Irrigation District near Tracy, said, no, they're not late. They're ignoring it. We're pumping today, said the 86-year-old walnut farmer. His district will keep sucking water from the San Joaquin River because it's fighting the state order in court. There are some who believe that if they comply with this order, that would undermine their legal challenge, you see? They'd be complying with it, and then they'd say, well, if you didn't believe in it, why'd you comply with the order? You're fighting it.
So it's what we told you. The farmers are often...
The farters.
The farters are greedy pigs. They don't want to share the limited resource, and they're counting on the bozo in government, Jerry Brown, and the bozos who report in the media to keep spreading the word that it's your lawn that's causing the water shortage.
So it says...
And it's not. It's the farmers.
Rights holders who fail to heed the curtailment order continue taking the water. They could be fined up to $1,000 a day or $2,500 per acre foot of unlawfully diverted water. I'd like to see them go ahead and do it.
There's no way to monitor it.
Well, you just go and see if they're drawing the water, I guess. I don't know what means they use, but...
There's no means. If a guy drills a well and he starts pumping water out and then feeds it into his irrigation system, how in God's earth is some bonehead bureaucrat from Sacramento going to figure that out? He can't.
No, I thought they were drawing it from the rivers there.
They're drawing from the rivers too, yeah. But I don't... How are they going to determine that? They don't have a policing system. It's never existed. It's 150 years of not policing this.
So there were 9,112 curtailment orders issued to what they call the senior and junior water rights holders, and only 2,800 gave any response. However, they did say that if you look at the water demand, the response was 78%. What they mean by that is that the larger water takers did report. It's all the smaller ones, in terms of numbers, that did not report whether or not, or did not comply with the reporting deadline. So
what are they reporting?
They're reporting whether or not they met the curtailment orders.
And what's the proof of that?
I don't know. It says they had to register their compliance before an official deadline.
Yeah, I just wonder what that means.
Well, what that could mean is now you got legal paperwork.
Right.
And if we do catch you that you did not comply with what you said you complied with, at least we got it on record.
I bet you we could fit the entire water enforcement bureaucracy in a phone booth.
Yeah, well, you're right.
I bet you it's like the water enforcers that the city of Los Angeles threatens, and then we find out that there's 8 guys. that were hired. What do you think? There's like 12 guys to cover the state for this?
Possibly.
Well, they never had to do it before. So if they never had to do it, there was no job there.
Yep. They did this before. They told senior water rights holders to stop taking water in the 1976-77 drought, which, good God, Jerry Brown was governor then. But they didn't really find them. So
here's something from the Associated Press. Regulators lack widespread meters or sensors to make sure people aren't illegally taking water. So they send inspectors to check if water from rivers and streams is diverted to farms and other property. They make unannounced visits or provide a general warning that they'll be in the area. Oh, okay.
Really?
Well, if you don't respond to their order, you're going to be the first to be inspected. So the people who respond don't get inspected right away, but that doesn't mean they're complying. It just means they filled out paperwork. Uh-huh. And there's nobody to check to see if what you filled out in the paperwork matches reality. Boy, I tell you, you just can't get more fake than Sacramento trying to pretend that they can enforce these water regulations. They can't. It's impossible.
They're saying some of them may have not responded because the streams and creeks in which they take their water or their water rights are held, they've dried out. There's nothing there to report. But others, as I mentioned before, may be waiting for a court decision before responding because they're challenging this order. And it says they do have other options. See, they can tap groundwater. They can buy water at rising costs.
Since the almond farmers have promised that they're going to increase the almond acreage for next year, I'm guessing they found other water sources. That it doesn't matter if the nearby creek dried out. They just pump deeper and deeper and more often.
True.
Yeah. So, when I see the almond industry shrinking, but it's not. It's expanding. Because these greedy pigs can make so much money selling the almonds. But go ahead. You be good little Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and you keep timing your showers, and you keep worrying about how often you water your lawns. Doesn't matter if it has no effect. At least you feel like a good citizen and you're obeying the government. People are so feeble.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. It's sad how feeble people are.
Feeble people.
I see Martha and Ed. Martha and Ed, I see them wasting water all the time. They're washing their driveway. Ed keeps washing his car on Sundays. Now, it's a nice car he's got, but still, it's really not right. It's those people.
All right, we got more coming up, including the bright side of the drought. Apparently, because these streams and riverbeds are getting so dry, the prospectors are having a good old time looking for gold in them there woods. We'll explain.
John and Ken Show on KFI. Shannon has news.